Hey guys, Cole here. Welcome to another Race Challenge video. We are in test server today, guys, on the definitely not called Brew account. 1 million gems available. I wish I had those on my main, but we are given access to the new champions that will be introduced with the brand new patch, the brand new fusion. These two are legendary champions. We'll look at these in the end. So look at these two new Skinwalker champions. From what I see, there's no other new legendaries other than, of course, Mother Cybele. I will be trying to test her out, but given her skills and what she has available, she doesn't need that many books on her A2 and A3, which is okay. If you max those out, you can maybe do something on the clan boss with a revive on death kind of setup. But that being said, it's gonna be tricky building her. So I don't know about if she's really worth all the effort to just go for this fusion. Let's go over and see the epics though that will be available with the brand new patch. We'll just need 4 epics for her. So I think there's 5 new epics available on the test server. So I'm not sure which of the 5 are going to be required. But that being said, I don't mind just looking over all of those. There's 4 new rares, and the rares are going to be required. You fuse those, you make the epics, and then you fuse the epics, you make the legendary. That's the way it goes. So ideally, if you guys don't want to go for the legendary, you'll go for maybe one of the rares, who knows, or one of the epics. Let's go through their skills one by one and see what we can go through. So you rock grim. Oh, this guy looks good. He looks good. Ogrin tribes. Yeah, definitely fancy. Okay. Skull Staff is his A1. Epic support. Skull Staff is his A1. Poison debuff for 2 turns on a 3 hitting A1. Pretty good. This goes to a 45% chance. That's solid. That's a solid poisoner. Removes all debuffs from an ally, then heals them by 40% of their max HP. This reminds me of a Steel Skull kind of mechanic, that healing plus a cleanse. Really, really solid though on a 3-turn cooldown. And then at A3, Bizarre Vapors places 3 poison debuffs. Wow. On all enemies for 2 turns. Also places 2 continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. Wow, so this is like what Battle Khazar has. This is a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. Wow, this is such a good champion. Places 3 5% poison debuffs on all enemies, and then continues heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. I love this. It's like Battle Khazar, except for the cleanse. But I mean, this is an epic. It's a void champion. Just through his skill set, I have a feeling that he will not be available to pick up. I think he just is a brand new epic. We'll see the other 4 epics that are available, and just maybe understand who is gonna be the one that's not in the fusion. But I have no idea just yet. But I think just from his skills, he's such a cool champion. I would go for this guy if I was just a brand new player playing on raid and seeing, okay, I need a poisoner. This is the one. If he's available through a fusion, just put your efforts on this one. That's my view. And I think everyone else will agree from the content creators. Wow, this guy looks insane. Whoa, this guy. Okay. This guy looks really, 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 really cool. Nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. Blade Hand Butcher. Attacks one enemy 2 times each hit. Heals each champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. This attack cannot be critical. Oh, why do you put this in the game? Why do you put this in the I hate this attack cannot be critical. You better have a 1500 multiplier. No, this attack cannot be critical. Again on his A2. Cut wide open. Attacks one enemy when not attacking bosses. Inflicts pure damage and decreases the target's HP by 50%. Uh, Pure damage. So I'm guessing it ignores defense. And decreases the target's HP by 50%. Wow, this is insane though. Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP instead, and places a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target already has less than 50% HP. Inflicts damage based on the champion's max HP when attacking bosses. Wow, single targeting, but inflicts pure damage and decreases the target's HP to 50%. This is so big. It doesn't work on bosses, but this can be used for PvP situations when you have a very high HP target. You want to drop their health down low so that you can attack them. But I like the possibility for the stun as well. I just don't like that cannot be critical thing. And then the passive decreases the values of all enemy shield buffs by 50% at the start of every turn. That increases this champion's max HP by the same amount. Ha! This guy will be used for PvP. I'm guessing just to decrease the value of the shields. and he's gonna help out with those stall teams. I think in PvP situations. I'm liking this guy. I'm liking this guy definitely. I like his uniqueness of a kit. He is possibly one of the ones needed for the fusion. He's not that great as the Eurogrim. I mean, I would sacrifice this guy for a legendary, but this guy, he is kind of legendary status in the poison chance on a 3 hitting A1, the poisons on the A3 on a 3 turn cooldown. AoE poisons can help a lot in dungeons. So yeah, looking good so far in terms of epics. Next up, we've got Cornelia. Okay, a dwarf, brand new dwarf. Looks pretty scary. Just looks dead in the eyes. Ugh. Surprising swiftness attacks one enemy. 40% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by 2 turns at random. Yeah, I like it. And then Piece of the Deep. 80% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Passive effect whenever an enemy loses a sleep, debuff placed by this skill has a 50% chance of replacing it with a fear debuff for 1 turn instead. Alright, okay, so she can apply the sleep. If you disable the sleep with AoE damage, then she'll apply a fear at a 50% chance. This goes to what, 70% chance? It's okay, nothing too crazy, I think. Place a sleep debuff on an ally for 1 turn. On an ally. Heals an ally by 50% of their max HP and fills their turn meter by 50% whenever the sleep debuff expires or gets removed. Okay, so that's like a healing and a turn meter boost. Heals that ally by 100% and completely fills the turn meter if the sleep debuff is lost due to taking damage from an enemy. Wow, this is really solid for recovering your allies. She could just this makes up for all her other kit. So this is so on such a low turn cooldown, a 2 turn cooldown. So imagine Cornelia can be used to basically boost an ally that's almost about to die. This can be abused so much with the swift parry because swift parry is going to proc. She'll sleep that ally who is a very low health, 1% health, with that swift parry proc. Okay, and basically take him to 100% health if the enemy procs the sleep and removes the sleep. So yeah, really solid. The 2 turn cooldown that can be so insane with relentless set. Also, you'll just be sleeping all your team. I can't wait to actually make a dedicated video on her. Let's go on the next ones, guys. Giro Jin. Ooh, looks cool. Shadow Kid with a flag on his back. Monk's Spade is a 1 decrease attack debuff for 2 turns, 45% chance. Goes all the way to 60. Nothing too crazy. Shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equals to 25% of their max HP, then attacks one enemy. Plays a provoke debuff for 1 turn. If the target's max HP is equal to or lower than this champion, this provoke debuff cannot be resisted. Yeah, that's cool. True Smite attacks one enemy will ignore 25% of the target's defense, will also ignore unkillable and block damage buffs. Yeah, HP nukes all around, but this guy will receive 25% less damage from enemy attacks when this champion HP drops to 50% or below. Yeah, this is a solid guy. I think he's gonna be a damage dealer, like good multiplayers. I don't know his multiplayer just yet, but I'm just guessing. And then finally, Magnar. Ooh, awesome demon spawn, awesome. Doesn't fit the whole demon. I mean, the graphics do fit, but the face doesn't. The face is weird. It's not even a face. I don't know what's happening there. Superheated hammer. A1 decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on a 45% chance. Has a 100% chance instead if the target is under an HP burn debuff. I like this for clan boss. Attacks all enemies, place an extra hit on enemies without HP burn debuffs, double hitting. So has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on enemies under HP burn debuffs. I like this. If his A3 does HP burn, ooh, it's gonna be weird. Attacks when enemy applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under HP burn debuffs. Ooh. Also, increased duration of HP burn debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Will not spread fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, or stun debuffs. I don't get it. So applies the debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from a target and placing them on all enemies. So you gotta have somebody that does an HP burn on as an AOE first for this guy to be effective, basically. If that doesn't happen, his A3 will do nothing, right? The debuff spread will not spread if there's no HP burn debuffs. I don't like it. This champion heals by 1% of their max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from an HP burn debuff. Yeah, but where's the HP? Where's the you need? Okay, you need this guy to have um like he can be used for control. Okay, he can be used for control in the spider dungeon, I guess. But you'll need to have an HP burn as an AoE champion. This guy doesn't help with that, and yeah, I would sacrifice this guy. Um, Giro Jin as well. I like the Voids. I like Cornelia. Overall, I think the most important one of the epics is this guy, Eurogrim. I think he's gonna be the one that's not acquired through the fusion process. And then finally, let's go over the rares, guys, before we get to the legendaries. Okay, so Ashwalker. Oh, there's Ash. We've got Ash as a champion. Okay, man, where's Brew Walker or whatever they want to call it? So, a Great Hammer A1 resets the cooldown of the Devastator's skill if this kills an enemy. Okay, Devastators is A2, attacks one enemy, 65% chance to play stun, decrease the perimeter of all enemies by 10% if this attack is critical. Okay, I guess. So he can be resetting this and decreasing the perimeters. Yeah, but whatever. Uh, attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing the lower version of the weekend. Yeah, nothing too crazy for a rare, I would say. Nothing too crazy. Definitely worthy to sacrifice. Lumber. Oh, look at this guy. Wow. Wow. This guy looks mean. Not on the face, but what he holds. Gigantic pulverizers, obviously. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a 25% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Also 20% chance of increasing the duration of any decreased defense debuffs by 1 turn. Okay. Lower version of the decreased attack, nothing too crazy there. Flatten, 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on one target. Place a 15% increased critical damage buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies. So I think this is the first time I see a 15% increased critical damage buff. I might be mistaken, but the point of this is that he is definitely sacrifice worthy. He doesn't seem at all interesting. Even his A2, which could have been an AoE, is a single target, not even 100% chance. So bad. I don't like him at all. Next up is Candleguard, obviously with the candles on her head. That looks cool, but the candles look weird. Light of Scrutiny, 40% chance of removing one random buff, 50% chance of stealing one random buff instead if the target has 3 or more buffs. Okay, Triumph Cry attacks all enemies. Weaken, the lower version of the weaken on a 50% chance. And then Focused, increase attack and increase critical rate buff on the champion, then attacks all enemies. This is okay, but again, nothing too exciting about her. Totally sacrifice worthy. So all the 3 rares so far, so bad. Hellfreak is the final rare. Vile Blades. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And then, yeah, that's okay, but the chance is very low. A2 is a 1-person hitting attack, 50% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking. I like it. The steal all buffs, it's not that bad. Swaps HP with an enemy, then grants an extra turn. So, okay, this one I do like. I like the swap HP with an enemy. You can make fun things with this. Of course, it doesn't work on bosses, but it does work on PvP situations. So he can swap HP and then attack. Hopefully, he does some damage. So he's the most interesting one out of all the rares. But that being said, all the rares and epics don't look that exciting, except for the one that does all those poisons. This guy looks so great. This guy's okay. Very unique kit. I like it. And she also has a unique sleep kit as well. And then finally, these two epics are not that special. They don't have really anything unique on them. And yeah, definitely that void. So finally, let's go over those two legendaries, guys. And finally, guys, Leoro is the proud. This lion. Well, finally, we get a lion in the game. He looks so cool. Lion's twin claws attacks when enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 60% chance of placing a 60% defense debuff for 2 turns. Damage increased by 20% if the target has less than 60% HP. Nice. Rage of the Bride attacks all enemies 2 times. Passive effect. This champion is immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, and true fear debuffs when this skill is not on cooldown. When it's not on cooldown. So before the start of the fight, he cannot get stunned, freeze, frozen, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear. I like this. This is a solid way to counter torments. You can actually use this as a big burst to take down enemies. He's probably a solid nuker. Can't wait to try him out with good gear. Attacks all enemies. 80% chance of placing a true fear debuff for 1 turn. Before attacking, has an 80% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. I like this too, so he can place the weaken. Cannot get a weak hit obviously because he is void. Okay, this is solid. The true fear. I don't know about the attack multiplier, but this skill is solid. True gift passive instantly places an unkillable buff on the champion for 1 turn before receiving a fatal hit. Nice. I like it. You cannot kill this guy. Damage increases as this champion HP decreases by 1% for every 1% of HP lost. This guy on a Swift parry is gonna cause so many headaches in arena. I don't know how the passive works with Swift parry. I hope they don't both work together. If they do, then you'll put this guy in a savage set and have some fun in arena. Definitely, even against torments. I like this guy, but he's a void legendary, so very hard to get. Then Fumisia, Fury Battle Axe. The face looks weird. Fury Battle Axe attacks one enemy 60% decreased defense debuff at a 50% chance. Has a 100% chance before attacking if the target is under an HP burn debuff. Right, that's solid. That's very similar to what of the epics. And then Cunning Chaos attacks all enemies. 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 3 turns. 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on targets with 50% turn meter or more, and a decreased speed for 3 turns on targets with less than 50% turn meter. Okay, so she does different things depending on the enemy's health and turn meter, right? No, it's just turn meter. Okay, that's cool. I guess the stun is going to be very useful. The decreased speed is not that useful, but still useful if they're under 50% turn meter. And then finally, Burning Regret attacks while enemy. Damage increased by 40% for each active HP burn debuff in the battle, up to 400%. I wonders on the spider what you can do. Also, 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Decrease the target's turn meter by an additional 15% for each active HP burn debuff in the battle. So, put an HP burn champion in with her. He'll apply it to everybody. She'll be attacking the big spider. She'll be causing some headaches in there. I love it. I love this skill. Obviously, this cannot go, I guess, more than 10% of the big spider's health. So this on a 3-turn cooldown will do what 780k maximum on the big spider. Even so, I like it. Whenever an ally receives a freeze debuff, has a 50% chance of replacing it with an HP burn debuff for 2 turns instead. Ha! That's cool against Torment. This debuff cannot be blocked or removed. The HP burn, I'd rather have the HP burn. Not freeze and HP burn though. I don't like those with a Torment against me because he's gonna go crazy with his A1. Whenever an ally or enemy is under an HP burn debuff, this champion is immune to stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, or provoke debuffs. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, I like this champion. These two voids definitely solid. That's why I guess they're voids because they're so hard to get. And yeah, truly powerful. I think this guy will be the best one out of the whole lot of new champions that we have this month. So this was the video for today, guys. I hope this was not too tiring. This is exactly why I didn't go and showcase these champions. Also, I'll be doing dedicated videos on the ones that I think are more worthy than the other ones. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.